Hey everyone, welcome to another Lunch and Learn. I'm going to be your host today, Gregory Goldston. I can understand it may not be quite as busy today given the national holiday, but hey, if you got anyone coming in, please join, share your questions. We'll be glad to answer them. I'm also going to make sure I've got my decisions environment running. If you'll give me just a moment here, y'all. Thankfully, we shouldn't have that one issue of having it shut down on us randomly. I think I got that resolved since the last time. So yeah, you can start posting questions, by the way. We are ready to take them at any time. But while we wait for those questions to arise, let me just go over some of the stuff on our slide here. We have our decisions support a YouTube channel. This is where we post all the lunch and learns previously. So if you had a question there and you couldn't quite remember the answer, you can go there. Also, it is worth noting that we post different types of videos explaining how to use different functions of the Decisions platform here. We may not have a video for every topic yet, but you may be able to find something helpful there. The Solutions Marketplace is where you can go to find pre-built products, pre-built projects rather, that you can bring into your environment that might have the functionality that you're looking for, or at least serve as a base that you can build on instead of building from the ground up. And we have turned our DocBot link into a QR code on this presentation here. You can go to our decisions documentation bot, which can help you solve different various problems. Kind of works in a chat GPT-esque way, but it's sourced from our documentation. All right, we got a question already. When making a data structure and the capture data on it, what is the best way to change data types for fields without losing the data? Tristan, I'm going to unmute you real quick so that we can discuss that in a bit more detail. You should be able to talk now, and while you're doing that, I'm going to switch screens.
Yeah, cool. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. Cool. Um, yeah, so just to kind of explain a little bit more. So we have a situation where we've got quite a big system and then we onboard users. So let's, for instance, say you've got a user, it's got a name, surname, and a passport. So then later on, maybe a year later, after capturing multiple users, you'd realize, oh shucks, okay, but I actually want the passport to be a list of file reference instead of just a singular file. We now want to change that, but then if you change the field, it would, of course, any user who's uploaded a passport, we would lose all that data. So would you
Right.
write some sort of migration script, or do you guys have built-in things to do that, or how would you do that?
We do have built-in steps that can be configured to do that. You would have to make a flow yourself in order to run it that way, but there isn't just a button that says migrate data and it does it for us. Let
Yeah,
me get a little bit more specific on your use case. What kind of structure are you saving this stuff to? Is this a database structure and a case entity?
it's a
Just like
case entity, yes.
it's a case entity. All right, it's going to
Yeah,
use.
so I mean we've had it like so there's multiple situations with different types of data, but this specific one we're having a problem. Well, yeah, there's a specific file that we've uploaded for long or that we've had, and now they want it to be a multiple file. And
So you
now
said it's a
we
list
have
of file data that you're trying to update file data from a singular item to a list and it's not grabbing it?
no, it's not that it's not grabbing it. So it's one file reference, and then we want to change it, but we don't want to lose. As soon as you change the data type, you'd lose the files that were already uploaded to that
Mm,
field.
let's see here. So let's get name and it's type this is type file reference you're saying, right?
Yeah, will be a file reference. Okay.
Oh, I think it's case sensitive. Hold on.
No, you had it there, wasn't it? But in the middle. Oh,
Output type?
no, it's not there. It was there, the previous one.
Ah, here we go, here we go. Got it. All right.
There you go.
Okay, so we're creating that. We're uploading stuff with the file reference, and then as soon as we change it to a list, it's getting lost.
Yeah, all
Interesting.
uploaded. Yeah, all previously uploaded files would be lost. So I mean, it's the same as if I mean, this is a very specific case, but so we've had a situation where we would have a field is user. like I'm just using an example, is user retired, then it
Hmm.
would be a drop down yes or no. You'd save it as a string. But then we realized later that's quite stupid. We could just do Boolean values. Now we want to change it to a Boolean, but you can't teach it like a string can't be a Boolean. That doesn't work. So you just lose all the data if you try and change it to a Boolean.
Right. Yeah, it
Yeah.
doesn't save it to the correct structure anymore because as soon as you create that namespace, you have those properties with it where that's getting saved and
Yeah.
yeah. Um, as far as your particular case with the file data reference, um, I do believe changing it to a list shouldn't get rid of the other file references, but I'm wondering if the way that they're stored would be affected by that or the way that file references are written to it because let me make this here real quick. I'll show you what I'm talking about. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll save this. I'm sure you probably run into something similar to this already. But let's say create type. You go to user defined types, right? You're creating your own case entity with that, and then you've got case entity and then create, right? So
Yeah.
we're gonna pass it in here. I'm gonna give it a prefix. And then extension data, I do want to build data on that, and we're going to set the docs to be constant. File name URL, maybe we'll pass that. Maybe we'll load from file data or something like that. I think that's what we'll do. We'll use the load from file data step and we'll pass that in just a moment. And then for name, we'll just make it constant. Okay, set that, set that, set that. And then the parent folder will just pick, oh, I didn't mean to do that. Constant. Apologies, I'm still getting used to the new V9.6 layout of the stuff
Yeah.
over here.
I see that's quite new. Yeah. It looks kind of cool.
It's cool, it's just a change, you know? You're used to
Yeah.
doing it
You
one
have to
way
get
for a
used to it.
year or so, and yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so let me create data, load from file, just so we can make a file reference real quick, all right? So,
Yeah. For sure.
file, I cannot spell that file, and then this will be file data. We're gonna make that a constant. Let me choose a file. And you know what? I got a recipe. Here, we'll upload that. And then from there, we should be able to load from file. And that should output file reference. Yeah, that's what I thought. All right.
Yeah.
And then we'll pass that there.
You marked the previous one as file data reference. I'm not exactly sure. That's a different
That
type.
that might be the wrong
I
one.
thought, yeah, I thought you guys, when I saw it, I thought it might be like a rename from like uh 9.6 or something. So that would be in the data structure itself. Yeah.
Yeah, we're gonna have to exit that. We'll fix that up real quick. Oh, because
There you go.
there it is. Got it.
Bottom. And
So let's see what it says. Warning is changed, may potentially cause problems. Yeah, that's fine. We haven't saved anything to it, so I don't think this is going to cause any problems, honestly. Yeah, compiled fine. That's what I thought. All right, let's try this again. And now, here's what I'm curious about. Does this, that updates automatically. So we'll save that. We'll run it once. Flow ended, runs fine. So if we change that to a list, well, we have the case entity. I wonder if it throws an error here automatically or how decisions handles that update. So we're going to check that right now. And this may be something that we have to test offline, Tristan, and then
okay.
confirm the way to work around this. Because I can't say that I know immediately off the top of my head if
Yeah.
this will function, but we can absolutely test that and check that for you. So,
Yeah. So I mean, the way we've been doing it now, for instance, if we have a string that we change to a Boolean, is we would add a new field to the data structure, then migrate, run a script to migrate, if user picked yes, make the new field true, if not false. And then you have the
Mm,
new field, and then delete the old field. But now you have to go everywhere where you've implemented that field. You have to change it to the new one. And it's quite and we built quite a big system, so it's not a small, so it'll take long to go find everywhere where we've referenced that field.
mm. So yeah, this gets saved here. I had a quick question on this. So like this creates it and then we can update it based on other things. Did you confirm that the flow that this is running in has been reconfigured to create the new ones with the list instead of the singular one?
So we've not yet changed it. So the whole idea is before I change it, I want to know if there's a better way to do it.
Ah, gotcha. I see what you're saying now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my question is, so now if you go to the previous case that you've made, I
Right.
think you would have lost that file now. I don't think that file will be there anymore.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to
Yeah.
be either. Yeah, because it's
So,
tagging
and
it
that's the
to.
big thing is we can't lose those files. Like, it's quite, there's legal issues attached to it.
Oh,
So
that's
I told the
understandable.
team, yeah, I told the team now, listen, it's not, because it was a design, or the design team wanted us to change it. We're like, listen, we can't just change that. That's not how it works.
Yeah, it's
It's a
not
whole
getting
process. So
attached here.
yeah, so before I make so yeah, how would I then keep that file? What's the best way to, that files have already been uploaded? How do I keep it?
You can guarantee to keep it if you were to add a different data field and then do the migration over to that by having it check for whether or not a file exists in there and then pass it
Yeah,
along as the first item in an array. That's a guaranteed
yeah,
way to make sure that file functions, but that doesn't sound like it's the best case scenario, and I feel like there's a better way that we can do this.
yeah. And with that, like I said, so if you now go back to the flow, now you've only referenced this data structure in one flow. In our case, it would be hundreds of flows. So you have to go
Right.
to all of those flows and then make sure we update them. So
Yeah, for updating, creating. There is unfortunately no way around that if you change that data field or even add the data field, to accommodate for new files being uploaded. That's going to
yeah,
have to be done, unfortunately.
yeah,
There may be a quicker way to alter all of them, but they will have to be changed.
yeah. No, for sure, that I understand. I think the biggest thing for me is the best way to do it without losing the data. Like that's
Right.
the big part. The work we can put in, but the data, if we lose it, we can't get back.
Right, right. Yeah. One way to do it, create the separate field, that's a list, map them to that in your logic, you could even set, because it's a case entity, you could even set a special state that you can send those case entity to with a trigger flow that does it for all of them, right? So
Okay.
you send it to that special state, right? I can just add a state that says, convert to so and so, and I can remove that state when I'm done in the configuration right here. So I
Yeah.
just have started completed. Give me folder view. Yeah, here we go. So yeah, I can just add a state here with the trigger flow. I can set those entities to that state that have the singular one, and this logic passes them all to a separate list. Again, it's a doable way to make sure you don't lose the data, but I don't know if that's the best way to do it. And
Yeah.
I would, here, I'm going to put in the chat here. I would recommend reaching out to support about this as well because
Okay.
they would be able to look at your project specifically since we can't show it here on a
Yeah. Yeah.
thing that's going to get uploaded to YouTube. But let me pass that in the chat for everyone. So support@decisions.com. Just because I can give you general knowledge based on your use case, but because I can't go in your environment and see how it's configured, my knowledge is only going to be so limited, right? Like I can tell you
Okay.
how to
Yeah.
build it out, but maybe there's a process I didn't see, that.
Yeah. 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 100%. Yeah. So we do get in contact. It's funny enough. I do think we are currently the biggest project on decisions. So we've got a we've got a dedicated support team to us. But I always try and kind of, so I thought maybe let me ask you before because we ask them like 60 questions a day. So but
Oh
that's
yeah,
cool. No,
absolutely. Yeah. But yeah,
so
that's
okay.
that's your idea behind that is simple way to do it is by converting that. The only other way to do it is if you're creating a file reference and attaching it somewhere. That file reference is going to be something that has to be stored somewhere and is pulled later,
Yeah.
right? So that's the
Yeah,
idea of
yeah,
it.
yeah.
And they would be able to, or actually, we can do that too with a little bit of research. I'll figure that out for you. But there's a particular way to pull where those file references are being stored and then use them later into the platform. So
Yeah.
we can
Okay.
grab them outside of it. We just have to figure out how, or I can look
Yes.
into that and
Yeah.
I'll let you know.
Yeah. I mean, but even the support team would actually know exactly where they lie. So that's something that would actually help quite a lot. Then we can just change it. In a sense, it'll lose it within the structure, but the file is still resting somewhere on the system. And if we can know, okay, if that file was mapped to that participant, we can just remap it into the list.
Right.
That's actually quite not a bad idea. I like that.
Yeah, and I don't remember it off the top of my head. I'm trying to remember if file structures get stored into the file storage or into the database, so I'll confirm that for you. But
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Yeah, sure thing.
Cool.
Alrighty. So that is question number 1. Answered to the best of our ability, and I'll look more into that here soon. Anyone else have any additional questions? Yeah, I'll kind of go around in here and I guess show some of the stuff that's going on. Where did it go? So I mentioned this last time because I think a lot of people don't really know how to remove a page from a dashboard in V9. In V8, it's very straightforward. There's edit page data and then just remove. But in V9, it's not that simple. So let me go to my public folder here. We have the company landing page, and I'm going to add a dashboard to this by right-clicking, add page, and I'm going to pick the request travel page. So I'll select that, hit save, and now you can see both of these are up here and available to the users once we give them permissions here. So you can reorder these, you can delete these. I want to show you how to do both. So if we go to request travel and under the all section, there is an option to edit the page data. When we select that, you can see that there's an order specified here with an order of 0. This is the first order, or sorry, the most foremost order that you can have when setting up pages. Anything above that will get ordered after it in sequential order. So if we go to company landing page and I go to edit page data, you'll see it's in order of 1. Now, if they both have the same order, which by default the order gets set to 0, these get sorted alphabetically. So you see how request travels first and then company landing page. So if I set this to 0, which is the same order as request travel, as soon as I save it, it's going to get moved to the first spot. And now I want to show you how to remove a page that you don't want on one of these public folders. So you go to folder view, and we're going to remove the request travel page, by the way. We go to these 3 dots here, and this is just a system-wide report. We don't want to change the system-wide report, which is edit, because this is used everywhere, and doing this could affect a whole bunch of stuff you didn't intend to. So rather, instead of editing it, we click change and choose what kind of stuff the report's going to show. We want to show all folder items with hidden. I'll pick that, and now we get our 2 landing pages. I want to remove the request travel page, so I right-click it. I'm going to select more, and then I can delete page data. This will not delete the page from the pages section over here. Your page is still created, it's just not attached to this dashboard anymore. So once again, right click, more, delete page data, hit yes, and now you'll see it's gone from up here. Can't access it. If I go to pages over here, it still exists, right? Okay. Well, I've not seen anyone else join. And given that it is a holiday, I can understand to be pretty light today. So I think we're just going to end this with the countdown as before. So gonna end it in 3, 2, and 1. All right. Thank you all for coming.